So finally, coming to this important question, should you still buy an Interceptor 650 in 2025? Is it still worth your buck? Compared to all the new launches that you are seeing in the market, is the Interceptor 650 still worth buying? Would I buy it again or consider alternatives? Well, if you ask me,
rev it up, let's take the ride. The rolling nomad by your side. From the mountains to the coast, we'll adventure like a ghost.
kilometers on my Paravan, on my Interceptor. Yeah, well, that's a significant amount of mile munching that has happened on the motorcycle. And during these 20,000 kilometers, I've taken my Interceptor through everything. My Interceptor has seen it all. I've taken it through highways, city traffic, winding carts, rough terrains, and everything else. So today, nomads, it's a Sunday, and the first agenda for the day is to create this review video. It's about 6:30 in the morning, and we are all set to ride to a place and talk about what it's like to own this machine over the long haul. We shall be talking about the good, the bad, and whether it's still worth your money and should you get an Interceptor for yourself in 2025. So let's go check out the motorcycle, warm it up, and start this video. Come with me. Alright, let's start our morning. So we'll go to this beautiful place. I have recently completed riding about 20,000 kilometers on my Interceptor, and I believe I'm in a very good position to share my review on this motorcycle. So on that note, I welcome you back to my channel, your channel, and our channel, The Rolling Nomad. Because mad world, nomad life. Now, I had purchased this motorcycle back in 2022, and over a period of about 2 years, we have taken this motorcycle to different kind of places. We have experienced different things while riding the motorcycle, and today we have sought to bring out a review video which is gonna enlist the good and the bad, about this motorcycle. So it's a comprehensive video, and we are just looking to go to this place where we can shoot this video. Wow, just look at the sun. It's about 7 in the morning, and Bangalore over the last couple of days has just begun to become warm and hot during the daytime, while during the night and these early hours of the day it's still pretty fresh, it's still pretty cool, and it gives me that desire to take the motorcycle out in the morning for a quick spin and make this video. Now what I'm gonna do is, this place Alright, I believe we should be good here. Let me park this motorcycle and I just hope there is nothing here that can puncture my motorcycle tire. Alright, so here we are. It's a beautiful morning, you see. You see that beautiful layer of mist? Wow, man. Just atop the level of the plants and the shrubs. Man, this is so beautiful. You see that? This layer of mist right atop the foliage level of the shrubs. And it prevails across the horizon, you see. Wherever there is a little bit of grasses, tall grasses and shrubs, this is there. So here I am at this beautiful place. It's about 7 in the morning. Bangalore is cool, but it's all set to throw all its warmth at me. And today we have come to this place to review our Interceptor, our Bhairava. Like I said, we have recently completed 20,000 kilometers on our Interceptor, our Bhairava. Now, when I got this motorcycle, there was many reasons that I had in my mind running, but very dominantly the reason was that I wanted to experience a twin cylinder motorcycle. Now at the time, obviously I did not have my finances in place to purchase an expensive imported motorcycle from Triumph or something like that. And Royal Enfield gave me this opportunity to go ahead and experience what a twin cylinder motorcycle feels like. So for that, I'm really grateful to Royal Enfield. Secondly, the other reason is that I already had a Dominar at the time, and I had been riding my Dominar alone all this while. By alone, I mean that I did not have any pillions to be riding on my motorcycle with. And then last year, I got married. That kind of made me try and test the Dominar while riding long distances, and I could feel that there was a dearth of power, especially with two people on the motorcycle and luggages attached to it. So I wanted to have a slightly more powerful motorcycle, and the door was open by Royal Enfield. I went, checked it out. I loved the feel of the motorcycle, that characteristic long stroke engine that Royal Enfield produces, along with the torquey nature of the engine. I was convinced that this is going to be my second motorcycle. And lo and behold, about a week later, I went to Royal Enfield, booked the motorcycle, and by the end of the month, that was December, the Royal Enfield Interceptor got added to my garage. And trust me guys, with this motorcycle, we, that is my wife and myself, we have seen a lot of places. On this motorcycle, we have had many great experiences. So that is what we are going to be talking about today. How has my experience been on this motorcycle? So let me sit on it as I talk about the motorcycle, because there is a handsome amount of things to talk about. Now this is quite a cockpit, don't you think so? Now, given the motorcyclist that I am, there is also a worm in me that always looks to see how to modify the motorcycle. Especially if you have fallen in love with the motorcycle, you love to do things to it, right? You love to add layers of comforts and conveniences for your experiences, and that is how I went about changing a lot of things, or rather adding a lot of things to my motorcycle. So we'll come to them one by one, but before that, you just heard how I landed on the Interceptor, how I decided on getting my Interceptor. I would not say that this was my dream motorcycle, and that being said, don't misunderstand me. It's not that I'm not fond of the motorcycle. The thing is, I had my Domina 400, which was my first motorcycle, and I was so thoroughly in love with the motorcycle, and that only because I had started to get used to the power and the torque on my Domina, I sort of thought about why not have a motorcycle that gives me the opportunity to taste something similar to the Domina's power figure, and at the same time to let me have a taste of what 2 cylinders on a motorcycle feels like. So this just came as an addition to satiate or satisfy my desire to taste a twin cylinder motorcycle. I'm still so hugely surprised by this engine that Royal Enfield has created. Royal Enfield has cracked the code of creating smooth motorcycles without vibrations or very minimal vibrations. But when this motorcycle was introduced in the market, this was unlike any of the other Royal Enfields which were available. It was smooth, it was cream and butter, and there was ample amount of torque on the motorcycle. It did not feel like a Royal Enfield. You know, in India, the swagger with which any Royal Enfield motorcycle is associated, especially the Bullet and the Classic, well, and that kind of prompts you to have a Royal Enfield. So I, somewhere in the remotest corners of my mind, I did have the innate wish of owning a Royal Enfield, for that particular idea of having a Royal Enfield for its swagger, and to feel what having a Royal Enfield feels like. So this is how all of those reasons put together, that is my looking for a somewhat powerful motorcycle to accommodate 2 people, and at the same time not to feel any sense of lack of power out on the highways or during long distances. Primary reason that. Second reason, my willingness or my desire to taste a twin cylinder motorcycle. And thirdly, because somewhere there was this thing to have a Royal Enfield motorcycle in my garage. So all of these reasons put together, I today own a Royal Enfield Interceptor 650 in my garage. Now, starting from the cockpit itself, if you look at this cockpit, you see that there is an entire paraphernalia which is in front of you. So starting from this Alien Rider M2 Pro motorcycle navigation system, which comes along with a radar and TPMS. So in this kit you have this navigation display which can seamlessly connect to your phone, and after that you have the dash cameras, one for the front, one for the back, and the tire pressure monitoring systems, and most importantly is पूरे kit की आन, बान और शान, which is the radar system to give additional safety and security to your long rides out in the highways. So I've created a detailed video about that. Just go check it out on my channel. Secondly, this entire range of gadgetry that you see here. So these are the switches which I have used for, firstly, one for turning off the automatic headlight on feature of the headlight. I don't really like that. I do not find any rationale in keeping headlight on through days, so this switch helps me in turning off the headlight. This is still unused. We'll figure out something with which we can put this switch to use as well. This is for my fog light, one of the fog light pairs, and this is for the second fog light pair that I have on the motorcycle. This is a voltmeter. Here it displays the voltage once you start the motorcycle. I can demonstrate that to you. So right now, as you see, it's reading 12.2, and that's how it should be on your battery. Along with which, here is a 12-volt socket and some charging slots, and if I wish, I can just turn it off from here. Alright, now there was a clock feature given here, but somehow I guess this thing has run out of battery, so we'll have to change the battery to get the clock up and running once again. After that, you have this that you see here, which is the wireless mobile holder, and moving towards the right, this is the FuelX Pro and the Powertronic switches, and that's pretty much what this front section is all about, the cockpit is all about. Here you have the controller switch for the Alien Rider M2 Pro navigation system, and along with that, these two mirrors. These are indestructible mirrors, typically because I take my Interceptor out on off-roading sessions, and you know how it works in off-roads, right? There is every possibility that you will drop the motorcycle, so when you do, you better be prepared to face the wrath of damaged mirrors. With these mirrors, I am able to avoid any such damage to my mirrors because they just turn this way when the motorcycle takes a drop. And tell you that the creme de la creme of this Interceptor, of this motorcycle, is this heart of it. Like we say, heart of gold. This could be a heart of steel, but it's cream and butter. So that's my most favorite bit of this motorcycle. Along with that, the stock exhausts which were put on the motorcycle did not give the feel of you riding a substantial motorcycle, because obviously the sound on those exhaust pipes were very meek, and right now these exhausts have addressed that very beautifully. It's like a symphony coming out of these exhaust pipes. They are able to keep you connected to the motorcycle, to your ride, in such a beautiful manner that I absolutely have no more wishes of adding any more louder pipes to my motorcycle. So last year we had sought to accomplish our dream of taking this motorcycle to Ladakh, which so far has not materialized. We could not complete that tour. We could only go up to Madhya Pradesh, and we had to return from there, right? So this year we shall strive to complete that mission. It's not like a mission, but yeah, that's something which remained unfulfilled, and that was one of the biggest desires. Soon after I purchased my Interceptor, my first big desire was to take this motorcycle to Ladakh. And with Ladakh in mind, I had, added all these paraphernalia that you see on the motorcycle, all this gadgetry, all these different modifications that you see on the motorcycle. All of these have their origin in the idea of taking this motorcycle to Ladakh. So whether you talk about these
off-roading foot pegs, whether you talk about the Fuelex and the Powertronic, whether you talk about adding this voltmeter, whether you talk about putting on a navigation system, whether you talk about the mirrors, or even if you talk about the tires, they all were a consequence of my desire to take this and take us to Ladakh. So that being said, it only means that it's only a matter of time before we head off to Ladakh once again and live that dream. So that being said, how has my experience of owning this Interceptor been over these last 2 years? Well, in terms of riding comfort, I would say the stock seat that this motorcycle came with, which was a very basic sort of a seat, I was never really convinced that this would give me that sort of a sitting setup which can take me distances. So I had to purchase this particular seat, which is the deluxe touring seat, and luckily that was made available in the kitty of Royal Enfield itself, so that I didn't really have to go in search of it, try out aftermarket seats and all, because this is a very good quality seat, and the topping on the cake is that it's a good looking seat as well. And after I got this seat added to my motorcycle, it has been a phenomenal experience doing those long rides on it. How comfortable a seat could it be that you don't feel like lifting your bum from it even after 2 hours? That being said, the position of your spine is pretty straight. Now for that, one of the other aspects is the handlebar, how close to your body the handlebar is, or how lifted or raised the handlebar is. This that you see here is not the handlebar with which the motorcycle came from the factory, and neither is it the handlebar that I had put on the motorcycle while riding to Ladakh. It's not really that high a handlebar, which is why, although I'm not really a very big fan of these sort of handlebar risers or raisers, I still had to use one because I like this handlebar for this crossbar that it has. And also, when I take this motorcycle now on off-roads, it gives me a very comfortable position to be saddling and holding the handlebar. Got it just to experiment. It was available at a pretty cheap price. I probably got it for 900 bucks compared to the Art of Motorcycle or other handlebars, which are in excess of 2,500, 3,000 bucks. When you are sitting straight, one of the other things that you have to be mindful of is when you are out in the highways, if you plan on adding a windshield, it should be functional. It needs to be very functional because not many windshields actually shield you from the winds. And as a consequence, what happens is that a lot of the wind that you are facing is actually channeled towards your helmet, and there is a humongous amount of buffeting that you hear on your ears when you are penetrating the wind on the highways. So this is one windshield, and this is from Inscape Dreams, and this is sufficiently tall, and this is by far the best windshield that I've come across for my Interceptor, not only because of the fact that the material is good, but also because this is sufficiently tall, and particularly because the mount that has been provided to hook this up to your motorcycle, you see it's a 2-point mount, and along with that, this metal piece also gave me the provision to sort of add this GPS mount to the front. Now this GPS mount is from Bison, and I wanted this GPS mount to be putting this sort of a navigation system on the motorcycle. And right now this is strong and sturdy. This doesn't move even a millimeter when we are riding the motorcycle in off-roads. So overall the sitting posture is very comfortable now. I sit straight on the motorcycle and my hands are also at a pretty relatively raised position so as not to exert any extra or pressure on my shoulders when I'm riding long distances. Plus the windshield, I guess I might have to add a pro spec, what do you call it, a wind deflector or windshield extender to ensure that 100% of the winds going against my helmet is made to sort of channel up and above my helmet. You know that this motorcycle is not a very light motorcycle, and that to the weight distribution of the motorcycle is such that it makes you feel the heaviness of the motorcycle, right? Especially when you are riding the motorcycle in slow speeds in cities stop go traffic, you will definitely feel the weight of the motorcycle. So that being said, when you are running this motorcycle on the highways, you would not feel any difficulties managing the weight because the engine is sufficiently torquey and it's sufficiently powerful. So there is that. Now coming to the next department, which is the braking department. Braking के मामले में I would say it's satisfactory. Not that I'm very satisfied with the way the braking is on this motorcycle. And the thing is, when you are riding a motorcycle this heavy, you have got to ensure कि आपके जो brakes है वो बहुत अच्छे हों. Otherwise you are always going to feel dicey. So keeping that in mind, एक चीज़ जो आप कर सकते हो वो ये है कि जो ब्रेक पैड्स है वो आप स्टॉक ब्रेक पैड्स को चेंज करके, जैसा मैंने किया है, मैंने इसमें इंस्टॉल किया हुआ है सेरेमिक ब्रेक पैड्स, तो जिससे कि काफ़ी अच्छा फील और एक्सपीरियंस मेरा रहा है उन ब्रेक पैड्स के साथ. आई एम लुकिंग टू सॉर्ट ऑफ इंस्टॉल द ब्रेम्बो कैलिपर्स. तो अगर मुझे थोड़ा सा फिनेंशियली थोड़ा और फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी मिलता है, एंड इफ़ आई फील लाइक मेकिंग दैट expenditure on my Bhairava, which I'm pretty sure I would at this moment, I would like to install the Brembo calipers on my Bhairava, right? So there is that. काफ़ी सारे राइडर्स अक्सर कंप्लेन करते हैं कि जब आप ट्विस्टीज पे या पहाड़ों पे इस मोटरसाइकिल को लेकर चलाते हो तब पीछे वाला जो ब्रेक है it tends to get overheated, right? And that can often lead to the brakes not getting engaged. So सामने वाले ब्रेक पे उतना ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम नहीं होता है, पीछे के ब्रेक्स में नॉर्मली मैंने उतना ड्रास्टिकली ये इशू फेस नहीं किया हुआ है. बट या you know, in rare situations I also have faced this problem with the rear brake sort of getting overheated. So there is that. The other thing about this is that इसमें जो power delivery होता है वो बहुत लीनियर होता है. इट्स नॉट एग्रेसिव लाइक हाउ यू वुड फाइंड सम ऑफ द KTMs एंड ऑल. तो ऑब्वियसली ये KTMs के आसपास भी नहीं है. आप समझ सकते हो कि ये एक 650cc इंजन है जिसके टॉर्क और पावर फिगर्स, टॉर्क तो नहीं बोलूँगा बट पावर फिगर्स इफ़ यू कंपेयर, it's going to resemble what you find on a Duke 390. So 390 and 650, KTM's displacement is almost half what you have on the Interceptor, and yet the power is just about the same. So उससे आप समझ सकते हो कि it's not a high revving engine, it's not really that sort of an engine. So that's not what this motorcycle is meant to be, and neither this motorcycle gives you that feeling. It gives you a very forgiving and relaxed sort of a riding experience. So I'm very happy about it. Well, so who should buy the Interceptor 650 in 2025? Is it still worth your money? Is it still worth compared to the new launches that are available in the market right now? And if I did not have this motorcycle, would I buy or consider buying this motorcycle, or think about the alternatives? Well, 20,000 kilometers later, my verdict is pretty clear. The Interceptor 650 is still one of the best bikes in its segment, but obviously it's not perfect. If you're looking for a powerful, a retro modern classic with solid reliability, this is still a great choice. But if you're expecting cutting edge technology and a butter smooth city experience, you might want to explore other options. This has been a beautiful morning, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, I would encourage you to subscribe to the channel and help me in growing this channel. There are a lot of long rides which are being planned on this Interceptor going forward, so I really hope that you become a nomadic member of this rolling nomad family. Show me some appreciation if you like this video by smashing that like button, and share your inputs and comments on the comment section. I would absolutely love to know, if you are an Interceptor owner, how your experience has been with this motorcycle. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. Let's close this. Aja. Aja.
We'll just take a tour of this particular place. Looks like it's a pretty good off-road practice ground.
Twists and turns we face with glee. The rolling nomad, wild and free. From dawn till dusk we
So in terms of the city riding experience, it tends to feel heavy, and because it feels heavy, while maneuvering in slow speeds, you will feel that heaviness. So that apart, when you are riding it out in the highways, you don't really feel a thing. It's just cream and butter. And on top of that, because I have the Powertronic on my motorcycle, the Powertronic and the Fuel-X both put together, they give a pretty charming sort of an experience in terms of its power delivery and torque delivery, right? So there is that as well.